Once again, here we are at one of the Wild Women Symposium interviews, and today I have with me again Rachel, who is one of our facilitators that is going to be at the Spring 2015 Wild Women Symposium, and she is also doubling up, and she is going to be one of our intuitive readers. So in the courses that we are sharing for the Wild Women Symposium, one of the options that you have is that instead of taking a class, you can actually sign up in advance for a 20-minute psychic reading with one of our mini intuitives. And Rachel was one of our intuitives in the last round, and everybody enjoyed her so much, and she's so skilled and so great at what she does that we not only want her to be a facilitator, but we're also going to have her be a reader again. So she's going to be doubling up for us. So hi, Rachel. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good. So now tell everybody about how you do your psychic readings and the different tools that you like to use.
So I do a lot of readings online. I read with Lotus Tarot as well as my own website. And so a lot of times I like to do astrology. I like to use birth dates. And then I also like to use crystals in my readings, and these are more for a live reading. I like to have some crystals on the table and intuitively kind of know which crystals go, or what the client should be using, which crystals they should be using, stuff like that, which ones will benefit their life. I know last year I had like a table set up of crystals, and so I use those a lot in my readings. So.
I mean, crystals are wonderful. I mean, there's so many different intuitive systems, especially in the India systems. You know, they really talk about how, you know, certain gemstones are supposed to touch your skin and the impact that they have on your skin. And Americans, again, we are, you know, I just love rocks. I mean, I'm one of those people. I did all the shamanic practices, and I love all the different feelings and energies of stones and how they really support you to vibrate a certain way and open up to different things. So give us some examples of the different types of crystals and maybe the impact that they can have on people. So people listening out there, they might not want to run to a store and say, oh gosh, I so need blue topaz or I so need amethyst today. So give us some ideas.
So there's times when I'll do a reading and I'll see, you know, some pain in the past, and this is kind of an intuitive thing, but a lot of times with cards, you can kind of sense which block or which chakra is blocked or which area, you know, needs some healing done, and crystals correlate with that. And so, you know, if there was some kind of sexual abuse in the past, then I would recommend some healing of the root chakra and sacral chakra and solar plexus chakras, and see what kind of crystals they should be using. You know, if there was heartbreak, then we'd focus more on the other chakras. And so it's kind of an intuitive-based thing. And so while I do the readings, I'll usually hand them some crystals, you know, and then I like to make some recommendations of some other crystals they should be using, as well as, you know, flower or essential oils and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm all about like the elements, I guess, using crystals and earth and all of that. So.
I mean, again, as women, I think we're naturally aligned with the earth, and women for thousands of years have been the herbalists and have been the midwives, and you know, there's such a connection that we have with the earth, and stones can be very healing. I've always been fascinated that, for me, say I'm a Leo, and then though the thing I'm drawn to is something like citrine, which is, one, it's very good for, you know, the solar plexus in Leo, and at the same time, that's my problem area. So, you know, it's funny how our strength is our weakness and our weakness is our strength. And so, you know, sometimes finding a stone that will stabilize the energy or where you give too much energy away is really helpful. I mean, so it's going to be exciting to see. And you also work with the different tarot cards. And so, you know, I know you have more than one deck you work with. Are you going to be doing all the decks when you're there?
I like to work with one deck at a time for me, but there are some times or some decks where I'll have like an oracle deck or a tarot deck, or so I guess it kind of depends. If the person is seeking guidance, then I'll use an oracle deck like the Ascended Masters or an angel card deck. If they're kind of seeking, you know, some healing, stuff like that, it's kind of based on what they'd like. But I do like to have 2 decks out for people to choose which one resonates with them. So, but I am more of a tarot or a tarot person myself. So that's my favorite. And last year I read with the Rider-Waite deck, and this year I'm going to be reading with kind of a more medieval art deck. So it's beautiful. It's the Golden Tarot deck.
Ooh. I'm like you. It's like I love tarot cards and tarot decks, and I've got just so many decks, like 20 different versions of them, and I find I go through phases of things that I'm really drawn to a particular thing. I actually love to use a particular deck that is specific because I actually don't understand the deck, so I have to open the book and I have to look and read in there, so I can't cheat, because being a reader, it's like I kind of know what they all mean. So sometimes when I'm reading for myself, I have to find something else to read. So so tell us about how, like, why do you think readings are so important? And I mean, I love readings, but what's your passion about readings?
I love helping people heal from their past, kind of get a solid ground on their future, or on their present, I mean, and then a good grasp on their future. I kind of view tarot readings or any kind of oracle reading as kind of a look at a map. You know, you're going to go anywhere in life, and it's good to have a map. Like, things are going to happen no matter what. And a lot of people think that tarot readings are all about doom and gloom, and they're not. They just show you your path and kind of the stepping stones that you can take to make it easier, or what path you are on. My favorite readings that I like to do are the empowering ones, where we can discuss people's passions and what will really make them feel alive. So that's what I like to do. And I realized I'm such a rambler. On interviews, I just kind of talk and talk, and that's how I am with readings. I just kind of let it all string out. But in the end, I really like to help connect people with their passions and what will make them feel most alive. So, and I discovered that that comes from healing from the past, and then, you know, grasping the future and being able to take control of it where you are now. I'm not sure if that makes sense.
I agree. I totally agree. I think that, you know, I mean, I like to look at people's past, and I like to look at the habits and how they have created certain patterns in their life. And then as they understand their patterns, they can actually make some modifications and changes, especially if they're not getting the outcome that they want to get. And oftentimes I find what I love about getting a reading is usually I'm missing one piece, 2 pieces, and I'm blind to it. I call it the donut over the eye theory, that I have a donut over my eye, and somebody says, Suzanne, you have this donut, and I'm like, I do not. I can't see what you're talking about. And a reader, that's what the job of a reader is to point out the obvious to the reader. But oftentimes when it's yourself, you can't actually see it. And then once you can see, like, oh my gosh, that's right, that's the pattern I'm doing, then you become conscious of it and aware of it, and then you can begin to unravel it. But until somebody can reflect it back to you, it's oftentimes really hard to figure out what you're doing that's not working.
Yeah. I have a few spreads, some that I've created, that kind of, it's like a check-in for yourself to see where your subconscious thoughts are directing your life. Because if you have kind of this fear in your subconscious that you don't even mean to be feeding, then that's going to be manifesting into your future. And so a lot of the spreads that I use will be exactly like what you said, to pinpoint what it is that is creating that kind of misfortune, or that, you know, the obstacles in your life. What is it in the subconscious, or in, you know, the thought patterns or your pathway that is creating that, and what can be broken? And so a lot of times those will turn up as more of the darker cards, you know, like the Tower, stuff like that. That will show up as some of the, you know, any time that someone sees any of the cards that they don't like, you know, those are the cards that are life-changing. So those are the ones that if you can pinpoint them, or even a reversal, you know, if someone's like, oh, I don't like reversed cards, all they do is really show a little pinpoint in life that you can change to kind of propel you forward.
Yeah, and what's amazing about cards is every card has a light and a dark side. And so, the dark cards, like the Tower card is break down and break through. And sometimes you have to break through, you have to break down. So, and the Devil card is temptation, but sometimes you have to be tempted in order to figure out your own shadow side and to choose a path of light. So,
And I
there's,
think that's why I like tarot cards, is because they do have that dual side, the dark side and the light side. And if you can recognize the dark side or the negative things in your life, then you can overcome them and bring in positive things. Because the thing with the Tower card is, like you said, it's a breaking down. But my favorite thing with that card is, rock bottom, the breakdown is where you build your life. So.
yeah, well, and I
I like
wish that we would grow without drama, but the reality is that we get so attached to things and we won't let go and we won't let go and we won't let go, and then you have to have the tower, like the universe has to go, that's it, you're done. And at the bottom, you're just like, whew, I'm so glad I finally let that go, but getting yourself to getting to that let go is sometimes very painful.
Yes.
So cool. So anything else you want to say about psychic readings and what you're doing?
Um, nope. Other than I look forward to seeing everybody there.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to have we're going to try and, create a space that is more private for the readers so that they can kind of have a little bit of a quieter energy. I mean, fortunately about the space that we're going to be at, the Salt Lake Community College, the Miller campus, is that we have so much space to work with. And the ladies can go outside and there can be all these different avenues, and it should be really beautiful in the spring. So I'm hoping that lots of people see these videos and get really excited, and we will be giving a link to my Mind Body online scheduler, and we will be setting up the schedules for the psychic readings, because with the psychic readings, if you opt out of a class, you actually only get to sign up for one reading. You can't have like all the readings, take up all the readings with all the readers. It's not fair. So you get to have one psychic reading in exchange for a particular class, and that's good because you get a chance to also think about your reading and have a chance to regroup. And I'm really excited that you're going to be with us again, Rachel, and so we can play more in the psychic intuitive realm. So thanks for doing the interview today again.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll see you at the Wild Women Symposium.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.